Welcome to the Mary D Show. I'm your host, Mary D, here to be your guide as we extract wisdom and life lessons from top CEOs, thought leaders, artists, spiritual luminaries, and wellness experts. My intention is to bring you value in every show that sparks an idea, helps you break a limiting belief, or encourages you to create thoughts that up-level your life so that you can know from the deepest parts of your soul that everything you want is available to you and that abundance is your birthright. In 2018, I healed from breast cancer holistically after surgery without the use of chemotherapy or pharmaceuticals. I love biohacking and plant medicine and exploring spirituality and what it means to be in relationship with spirit so that we can feel whole and complete no matter what life throws at us. My specialty in the business world is strategy and leadership, and my gift to each of you is my ability to listen so that I can help others see themselves. In each episode, I want to sprinkle you with some hope dust, tickle your funny bone, and inspire you to find your inner roar. Get ready to live your most aligned, purposeful, and joy-filled life now, and enjoy the show. Today's episode is sponsored by Design Panda. Get all your graphic designs for social media, logos, and visuals done by professional graphic designers for one low monthly rate. For more information, visit our sponsor at www.design.panda.com. Use the code MARY40 for 40% off today. Again, that code is MARY40. We are rounding out the third quarter of 2023, and I want to know from you, how's it going? When you look back at your 2023 January New Year's resolutions or your third quarter goals, my question to you is, how many goals did you hit? And how many did you miss? Or are you listening right now and saying, gosh, Mare, I actually didn't set any goals at all? Or, Mary, my life is in a constant state of chaos and I have no time or energy or desire for goals. There's not shame on you in any of this if your answer is that you did not meet or did not set any goals. However, there is a great quote by Wayne Gretzky that goes, "You'll miss 100% of the shots you don't take." And if you haven't thought about or written out what you want to complete, then you're essentially allowing other people or circumstances to run your life, and you're going to stay on a perpetual hamster wheel. The good news, though, is that it's about to be a new quarter, and you have the ability to finish this last quarter and the calendar year really strong. When you think about what you want to get done and what finishing strong means to you, I want you to think about it in terms of your values and not necessarily in terms of just achievement. Many times people want to think that achievement is what drives happiness, but actually it's being aligned with your highest values and achieving based on the outcome of living the value. It's based actually on happiness, a happiness factor, and not just on hitting a mark or creating a notch in your belt. So some simple examples of that are sex without intimacy. Sex with strangers might fill a short-term void, but a perpetual wheel of this is going to just yield more loneliness, temporary fulfillment, and create more longing. Versus creating. Today's episode is sponsored by Design Panda. Get all your graphic designs for social media, logos, and visuals done by professional graphic designers for one low monthly rate. For more information, visit our sponsor at www.design.panda.com. Use the code MARY40 for 40% off today. Again, that code is MARY40. Intimacy and connectedness that makes a stranger a friend and a lover and a lover your person. If your highest value is a loving partnership, studies from Alto University show us that this happens more through those personal love relationships than anywhere else. It also happens in the love that a parent has for a child. So my challenge for you is to identify your highest value and then create a goal to achieve something that feeds the value and doesn't just get the trophy at the end of the day. For example, one of my highest values is freedom. So when I design my life around freedom as the goal, that's where real happiness comes from. So I hope that's helpful for you. In today's episode, I want to explore with you the topic of the neuroscience of happiness and 3 ways to be happier. Because happiness is always the goal, but when we don't align it with our values, what comes up is often emptiness. I want to save you the time and pain of emptiness by helping you figure out what is actually going to make you happy. The other day, I had a guy walk up to me in the grocery store and very randomly turn to me and say, "Rich people have no problems." And I immediately felt the rejection of this in my body because I know that this statement isn't true. If you need some examples, just look at Donald Trump and even Elon Musk. These guys aren't without a different set of setbacks and problems. No one is above being sad or unhappy. According to world-renowned brain expert Dr. Mark Hyman, happiness has nothing to do with the problems that life throws at us, but rather our ability to face them and how we go about solving those problems. Although money can resolve a myriad of problems, like it can make a credit card bill go away, or it can be the difference between eating a can of tuna for dinner instead of a 12-ounce ribeye, the actual happiness factor here isn't the meal itself, but the people and circumstances that create the feelings between the dinner choice of a can of tuna or a ribeye. For example, I am much happier eating a can of tuna surrounded by people I love over sitting alone eating a ribeye. And how do we create more happiness? I'm going to give you my 3 time-tested ways that have kept long-lasting joy in my life. I've had breast cancer. I've been through a season of wealth followed by a season of losing all of that wealth and having to rebuild it all again. And I am here to tell you firsthand my experience in the hopes that you can find happiness that lasts and create an achievement system for yourself that allows you to redefine success in a way that is aligned with your values and not keeping up with the Joneses or with other people's versions of success. So first things first, get quiet with yourself. Cut out the noise of other people's opinions and resolve once and for all what success actually means to you. If your health is important to you, then you first have to define what is your definition, your gauge of success for good health. Is it having good skin? Is it having a body index of 25% fat or less? Is it simply drinking 70 ounces of water a day or taking a 30-minute walk each evening after dinner? Is it going to the gym for an hour? Is it running for 5 hours? Is it playing a game of pickleball twice a week with your friends? The 3 questions that I like to ask myself are, what does it look like? What does it feel like? And how do I measure it? And most things, when you look at your goals, if you can ask yourself those questions, it helps you get really into your body on what is actually important to you and what does it actually look like to you. Because beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and so is achievement, so is happiness. It looks a little different for everyone. So you have to get really clear on what that is for you. So for me, health is in the top 3 of my values. Within that system, what it looks like is visible muscle tone. It feels like that I have energy throughout the day, and I measure it by having higher than average positive indicators on my blood test, and more subjectively, how I feel in my body. So number 2 is keep going. Stop thinking of everything as being permanent. This is the part where you don't have to take life so seriously, and you get to be curious and you get to tinker around. You might even call it playing if you want to make it fun. It's where you get unlimited lessons on how to do it better the next time. This is where you can see everything as a lesson instead of right and wrong or losing and winning. And when we make our new goal to learn instead of to win, we actually get to the winning faster. It's said that Thomas Edison failed at least 1,000 times in trying to make a light bulb. So you could say that each time he learned what didn't work, and eventually the compilation of those lessons produced a light bulb, and we all are enjoying electricity today because he didn't give up. So rest, take a break, get some advice, but don't give up. Persistence always pays off, and this is the one trait I see over and over again in people who are great at getting what they want. The third thing is to shift your perspective. So think of the yin and the yang. Think of a symbol that looks like the number 6 drawn on the ground. If one person stands at the head of the 6 and another stands at the bottom of it, one of those people are going to see a 6 and the other is going to see a 9. When we can shift our perspective, we can see a different way or a different outcome. Maybe you have a grumpy neighbor and you avoid them because their face looks frozen in resting bitch face. You pass them every day, and since they don't smile at you, you don't smile at them, you don't say a word. And then one day, imagine that you decide to smile at them and say hello, just to see what happens. And it ends up striking up this conversation. And in that conversation, you learn that they actually had a stroke and they cannot control the look on their face. And that maybe they're actually alone. Maybe they recently lost someone that they loved. With this new information, with this new perspective, we can take all of this information into account and create more compassion. And we can take something that we perceived to be negative and turn it into a positive. We can turn pain into purpose. We can transmute problems into solutions. And think about the beliefs that you're holding tight to that aren't serving you. Why do you believe what you believe? And is it possible that there's another fact that you aren't considering? That there's another angle, another perspective, another view? I went to a private Baptist school in junior high, and I remember listening to the Bible teacher really chastise this new student because she believed in the Big Bang Theory, and she was arguing with him over the Bible's 7-day account of creation. And I watched the two of them go back and forth, and they were both very righteous about their belief system, and it took them both the same amount of faith to believe what they believed. And what's interesting that struck me was what if, just what if, it was both? What if God was like, let there be earth, and bang, it was there. We're often so busy trying to be right that we never stop to consider other options. This also happens when we tell ourselves a story about something that didn't or hasn't actually happened and actually get upset over this fake story in our mind. There's this really great quote that says something along the lines of, there's no sense in worrying about something that hasn't happened yet. And we forget that God gives us a lot of grace, even when we're the idiot. And there are probably more times that we don't have to pay the consequences to a bad decision than we even know. I remember seeing this t-shirt that said, everything happens for a reason. And sometimes that reason is you're stupid or that we're being stupid. And if something or someone is driving you bonkers, or you're really bothered by something out of your control, then maybe you're the one being stupid. And it's an opportunity for you to start considering the other scenarios that you haven't before, to see if there is some sort of flaw in your belief system, to see if there's some missing information, or if there is some information that's been misconstrued or miscommunicated. Happiness often shows up when we can release the shackles of frustration, and oftentimes it's the perspective shift that unlocks those cuffs. So to recap, 3 ways to be happier are, number 1, create your own definitions of success. How do they look and feel, and how do you measure it? Keep going is number 2, and number 3 is change your perception so that you can shift your beliefs if they're not serving you. Tune in next week for a new episode, and until then, may abundance always walk beside you, may joy always go before you, and may love always guide you on your path. Thank you for joining us on today's show. I hope that today's session inspires you to live an aligned life where you get to take complete ownership of your feelings and decisions to live in your truth. You can connect with me more at www.maryd.com. You can also catch us on YouTube at The Mary D Show. Head on over to Instagram and Facebook and type in @TheMaryD and just look for the little blue check to ensure you're on my official page.